Live. And we're live. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our T-6 meeting with all of our World Game mentors. So we are now exactly 6 days away from the launch of the World Game, which is very, very exciting. We are going to be all flying off to Brisbane, and we have got Friday, Saturday, Sunday in Brisbane for our Australian Entrepreneur Summit. And then we are going to be launching on the Sunday, and we're going to tell you all the details about that as well. So here's what we're going to cover on this call. We're going to start by just giving a bit of an overview of where we are currently in the World Game and the key things you need to know about for everyone who's brand new to this call, and for those who've been kind of tracking this and being on this call over the last few months or even many months. We're going to give you all of the exciting updates. That's what we start with. So I'm going to come over to Michelle to begin with. We're then going to also give you a bit of an overview on some of the key things we've got coming up in Brisbane, for those of you who are going to join us in Brisbane, so that you can kind of see, again, how we go about planning our events when we're doing our bigger events. And then we are going to go into the training part of this little session we're going to have. Over the last 2 sessions, we've gone over 2 of the 5 legs when it comes to doing your event marketing, right? So we actually went through, one which is digital marketing. We went through last week, the one which is all around partnerships. So if you missed on those, go back to listen to those ones, because each one of these are really super important. This week, we're going to go through email marketing, like how do you do it, what to do, what not to do. And for anyone in Europe, we've had the whole GDPR thing happen. So I'm going to get Suraj to share like what we're doing, how to make sure you're giving enough value at the same time that you're actually, going out with the right sales emails at the right time as well. So what we've seen as best practice, and we're always figuring out a better way to do it. But at the moment, we've had to do a lot of shifts because of all the privacy stuff going on in the world today. So what are those steps? And for anyone who's still trying to catch up on some of the latest things that you should be doing best practice-wise, we're going to cover that on this call as well. Those are the 3 big things. So I'm going to start by coming over to Michelle. And Michelle, would you like to just share the very latest on the World Game?
I would very much like to do that. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening. Let me screen share. My God, I can't believe it's just literally like the end of this week. It's 6 days to go. So this is our circle. I'm not going to press play because then you're going to hear myself twice. But this is where you should be watching our call today. And you can go ahead and do what Jan's done. Just come and say hello. Let us know where you're dialing in from. And we'll always have our recordings posted in here as well. So hi to you, Jan. Let's have a little look at the numbers here. So we actually invited, this last week, we invited everybody to come on board and become a partner of the World Game. It was pretty awesome. Like straight away, we had over 250 people come and register in to be our partners. And you guys have been out there sharing about the World Game. We sent you email copy and social media copy. So I know you've been really sharing. I know lots of you have been sharing in your Genius U circles as well, which is really cool. So we're getting lots of people coming on board because of that. We're now over, this was open and now it's not. We're now over 1,500 people registered into the World Game. In fact, this morning when I logged in, it had gone to 1,600. So that's going up every single hour as well. And we've got a whole stack of city leaders come on board. So we had some more city leaders even come on board last week. We're now up to like 15 new city leaders who've joined us just in the last couple of weeks, which is pretty awesome. Amy Bembo-Riccardi is the city leader of Washington, D.C. Ingrid Verkamen, who's over in New Zealand, has now joined us as city leader for New Plymouth. Ingrid's been running some women's networking groups over there as well. Robin has taken over Singapore, which is pretty cool. So really great to see a number of people coming and stepping up and being city leaders. There's still time to join. Even though we did the city leader training last week, there's still time to join for the World Game. Being, as I explained to everyone on the launch call last week for the city leaders, is a very, very strong position to put yourself in, both for the World Game and for your business as well. City leaders will be earning like at least 100 to 150K of additional revenues during the year. And if you just take the Entrepreneur Fast Track event that Daniel Halenko did in Manchester, where he earned an additional $40,000 of revenue just for running one half-day event in his own city. So it's a really, really good position. And of course, you can be inviting lots of people into your circle and making sure they're all playing the World Game as well, which is pretty cool. We did a Facebook Live with Roger on what was my Saturday morning, other people's Saturday afternoon, some people's midnight. And it was pretty awesome. So you can go onto Roger's page and check out his Facebook Live. But it had 7,000 views already. So that's everyone who got to hear about it on Saturday morning. And also we're going to be doing a Facebook Live from Brisbane on Sunday at 5:15 p.m. Brisbane time, which we worked out was 8:15 UK time. But I'll be putting the times out and letting you know about that later on as well. So yeah, so you can actually, if you're not at GES Brisbane, you can watch the whole Facebook Live as we actually launch the micro degree and give you access. When you go into your Genius U, what you're going to find is when you actually go onto your profile later this week, you'll see on your profile as you log in that you're actually going to have a little globe here. So this space here that we've got right now, you're going to have a globe if you've registered to already play the World Game. So if you haven't, you won't get one of those. If you have, you'll get a little globe. And that indicates that you're someone who's playing the World Game. So now you'll be able to go into your circles and see exactly who is playing the World Game and who isn't playing the World Game. So I think keeping it brief, because I know we've got lots to cover on the marketing side. I think that's it from me. And let me come back to you, Roger. There we go.
Awesome. Very cool. Thank you very much for that, Michelle. And really, really good to see everyone stepping up and jumping into this. And I'm so looking forward to when we actually launch, because we are going to be doing it on the Sunday at 5:15 Brisbane time, which is 3:15 in Singapore time, and whatever other time you are, you should be able to work it out from there. And I'm going to be on stage with Paul Dunn, who is going to be with us there in Brisbane at the time when we actually do the launch, which is super exciting. So that's when we actually launched the very first step of the 10 times your impact micro degree, and there's going to be one step launched every single day for 14 days from there. And it's going to be when we actually start the rankings. It's going to be when we open up all of those new features, and you're going to see the very, very first giving impacts being made, because we're planning on that day to already be making some giving impacts for Brisbane. And hopefully you'll also be doing that, so your city also jumps right into the top 10 on the first day, which would be awesome. So let's come over to Jess, because Jess and the team have been working super hard on the Brisbane event all the way through the year. Just to give you a bit of a sense of how we go about mapping and planning out towards an event as we're getting closer to it, and some of the kind of key things that we're doing. For those of you who are coming along, what makes this event different from like just the fast forward events that we've run in the past, kind of the way that we kind of mapped it out and the things for you to look forward to. So Jess, let's come over to you.
Hi, Roger. Hi, everyone. Hi, partners. So look, going into a 3-day event, there's obviously a lot more time and energy and planning that goes behind it than even a 1-day event. Although it would be surprising that a 1-day event sometimes can take just as much planning and pre-thought going into it as a 3-day event. So GES Brisbane is quite different, because we do have a number of additional speakers that we have at our Global Entrepreneur Summit. So Founders Friday, we've got a number of panels as well as some keynotes on the Founders Friday, which is specifically for our platinum ticket holders. And then going into the Saturday, well, one of the best things about our Saturday is definitely a Changemaker session. So that is streamed live. So we will be putting the link into the circle here, as well as into various other Facebook groups and everything, so you can watch that live. And our main theme for that is actually blockchain, one of the top 10 waves of that Roger's identified. And so we've got 4 really great speakers there, so look out for that live streaming on the Changemaker session. The other things to note that we always do with all of our events going into it is keeping a regular track of attendees and numbers coming into the event, and also the 3 main things that we use to bring attendees in. So firstly, our email campaigns and going out to our database, and Siraj will go into a bit more around that as well. Going out to our partners, and the third one, which is going out through social media. So social media has been a really big play this year, definitely, and we've got 100 ticket sales through social media for our Australian Entrepreneur Summit, which is super cool. And just a little bit on emails, if you wanted me to go into that now, or do you want me to talk about that a bit later, Roger?
You can actually go into it straight away, because I'm going to come over to Siraj in a moment anyway.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So one of the things that we do with all of our partners is we provide them with content that they can then send out to their database, similar to what Michelle's been doing now with the World Game. The 2 things, I guess, that we kind of separate the emails around is, one is our partners come on board and they'll buy 10 tickets, 15 tickets, or 20 tickets. And obviously, they've bought those tickets. So So the emails that we provide are more sort of an invite only. There's no specific links except to link back to them so that they can collect the names of their guests that they're attending. Then the second 3 emails that we do provide has an affiliate link. So then they can sell the tickets, and people click on the affiliate link, go through to the website, and that all gets tracked in our back end so that then we can track commissions and who's bought what ticket from where.
Yeah, and I think that's thank you, Jess. And I think that's a really super important part as well, is that for obviously all of our partners, you need to have your own Post Affiliate Pro code. And we are going to be actually integrating all of Post Affiliate Pro back into GeniusU in the coming months as well. But at this point, obviously, most of you already have that code. And as you know, you can use that code against any of the different pages that we have, so that it tracks everyone that comes through there as well. And obviously, you can create your own URL shortener to use that. You can put it on all of your own pages as well. And those people who are a bit more advanced, rather than just showing the actual code, they'll just go into the page and they'll actually just hyperlink different words to that code. So when someone clicks on the click here button, it just takes them straight into the right page to actually join the World Game or come to the event or whatever happens to be that you're doing, including Wealth Dynamics, any of those things, it's the same code. So everyone can be using that. And on the actual email side, on the one hand, we have got people, and this is really important, right? On the email side, we have got our own database that we obviously will go out to in different ways, and we've actually segmented it. So it's quite different from what it was even a year ago, which you're about to hear from Suraj, like what we do and how we do it. As you're listening through and get an idea of how we're doing it right now and the kind of size of database we have and the way we're managing it, think about this for your own email list as well. I mean, while there are less and less people using email, and email should be less and less of your overall strategy, because as time goes on, you're going to find that you can get people coming in from many other places that are not all about email, where people aren't even opening their emails nowadays. And you're going to hear, again, I'm sure you heard in the past as well, that email is just a small % of where we get our, like signups from for things that we do. At the same time, it's really, really important, because if you actually do it right, then it's one of the cheapest ways to be able to market, because you've got the list already, right? Whereas if you're going to retarget on Facebook advertising, if you're going to go out and work with partners or anything else that's going to actually mean you're going to share revenues or incur costs, obviously email's like free if you're doing it, in a smart way. So what I'm going to do, so obviously to do this, you're also going to need a CRM, which is going to be your management system. There's different CRMs you can have. I'm going to give Suraj a chance to just share what we're doing and what we've done even recently because of GDPR and so on. So if you're behind on that and there's things you need to be doing for that, or even if you have implemented things, to see how we're doing it differently. And then from there, I'm going to ask Suraj a few different questions so we can kind of get some clarity on other areas that can help you. And if you have questions, post them into the GeniusU Circle, and we'll potentially come to some of those questions as well. So Suraj, I'm going to hand it over to you to just give a bit of an overview on how we use emails and what's changed recently.
Sure. Thanks, Roger. So what you mentioned about the email, spot on, in terms of it can be really useful if we used in a very effective way. Right now, what we've done, and we've noticed this pattern as well. So what we do is our first batch of people who come onto our systems are mainly coming in through all the online mediums, and they come in, and then we segment them into different buckets. So this is the plan that we had put together. And like for us, it's slightly different because we've got multiple brands under one property, right? So what we did was we put together a plan saying that, okay, if we want to use GDPR as one of the reasons to even upgrade ourselves, what is that we'll have to do, right? So we'll put together, we put together a full strategy around it. So if you guys can you see my screen? You can't. Okay.
Not yet. In fact, looks like you're hanging now.
Is it coming through? It says your screen sharing. Can you see it now?
I can see you sharing everybody else's everything, but
okay. So you can see it now, right? Like,
yes.
Moving like the tunnel. All right. So this is like the custom communication plan that we came through, and we identified what the issues were and what we need to do as well. So what we decided was to break up our emails into different parts, which is like update emails, which is like regular news emails, promotion emails, which is going out for our events or any of the products, and autoresponders, which are triggered based on journeys, which is one-to-one customer journeys. And onboarding is when you buy something, you get onto the onboarding side of things. So we put together a set of principles as well. I won't go through each of those principles, but what I'll do is I'll share some of the slides with you as well, along with the policy that we put together, so you can check that out and use some of that for your business as well. And what we did was we broke the entire plan into different steps of how we want to approach it. And within 2 weeks, we started implementing it as well. And as I was saying, like, ours is a brand with multiple sub-brands under it. So this is what are the different brands which look like, right? So there's Entrepreneur TV, there's Genius U, there's Entrepreneur Resort, Genius School, Impact Investor, and all these different products. However, there are entrepreneurs who would come in at different level and they would want different information as well. So we saw this as an opportunity that if we were to grow each of these segments into a full-fledged database itself, so then we can really target people based on what their interests are and what they want to hear and right. So just by doing this activity, what we noticed is Health Dynamics now has about 11,000 people interested in it, and we're getting same number of people about interested in multiple items. On Genius, we have about 400,000 people who opted in, or of the 800,000, which is about 50% of it, right? So what we're doing now is there's a specific focus on building each of these entities rather than pulling everything into one basket, right? And then once we fill each of these entities with the databases as well, we then start a newsletter for each one of them. So now what we put together in the plan is that every Tuesday there would be a newsletter, or the Entrepreneur TV that would go from Roger. Every Wednesday there's a newsletter which would go from the resorts team, Thursday from Genius U. So you're not getting say 10 emails from Roger for different brands, right? And each of the sender are also different. Now the reason why we've done that is when you have different senders from different emails and going from a different IP address as well, the chances of it landing in someone's inbox are much higher than it landing in a spam folder or say junk folder, right? So we're noticing like open rates are going up a lot higher as well, and as we are building each of these buckets. So that's mainly what we're doing on the email side. And as I was mentioning, majority of our traffic and leads comes in through say Facebook and social media, other social medias, and then they get into each of these funnels. We started using lead forms within Facebook as well, so people don't really have to come onto your website to sign up for a specific item. They could just sign up directly from Facebook and be part of your email database as well. So those are on the email front. Just on the GDPR side, if you haven't done the GDPR implementation, you don't need to worry. There are about 60 to 70% of the companies who haven't done that. However, this is a good time to get started on it. And what the compliance says is that as long as you started working on it, then it becomes really useful. And if say someone reaches out to you and if you say that you started the compliance work, that's good enough for now. So this is what our plan was. And if you see on the right hand side, we went through our data policy. We updated our website to enable people to opt in. So that's the page which I was showing you, and which is available on different sources. So it's available on Genius U. It's on the bottom of each of our emails, so that we constantly getting people to update their email preferences as well. We got like a controller contract with people's data that we hold. So for example, if you're a reseller and we are holding some of your client data, we got that processor contract. We are the processor and whereas you are the controller, so we've got those contracts set up as well, and with the communications which was sent out to everyone about the changes that we've done. So it's mainly just these 7 steps, and it might sound very overwhelming, but it's not if you just get started and just look at some of the things which we've done and replicate that for your business. Just make sure that you update your privacy policy and get that out as soon as possible to your network. That's the first big step that you will do in complying with GDPR, and the rest of the things you can build on the way, and you can give yourself like 2 or 3 weeks to get that sorted as well. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll share things with you all. You can have a look.
So one of the things that would be really helpful is, could you share with everybody, as well as like, so everyone, hopefully you got the point that you always have to have regular, value emails. If you're not sending value emails out and all you're sending is promotional emails, no one's really gonna be interested in opening them, right? So send out value emails, and also send value emails out by a separate email address from your promotional email, so that way, again, the people that decide they don't want to have your promotional emails don't end up losing your value emails as well, right? So that's the second thing. And then the third thing is make sure that when you're doing promotional emails, limit how many you do, or get people to opt in to a promotion. Like we're getting people to opt into World Game, which means that they're expecting more emails to come through, but they wanted them, right? Because that's why they joined. So we'll have them specific to that as well. And the final thing is be really aware that the best way to increase your open rates isn't even about just doing better emails. It's about getting rid of the people on your list that aren't opening your emails anyway. Like if you've got people after 90 days that aren't even opening your emails, then obviously your opt-in, like as time goes on, as your database gets bigger and bigger and bigger, the number of people percentage-wise who are then opening, which are the most active ones who are opening at the moment, is going to go lower and lower and lower, right? So it's as important not just to be adding people to your list, but taking them away as well, right? And lots of companies have different ways they do this. Could you share a bit, Suraj, first of all, on the part around just, like how to limit how many promotional emails you send out? What's a fair, good way to do that? And then secondly, the process we're going through to actually clear out the people that aren't even opening emails in the first place.
Sure. So in terms of the promotion emails, what we've noticed is not more than, say, one promotional email if they are part of your bigger database, right? But if they've opted into something, then you could send, say, because they want to hear about it, you can send up to, say, 10 emails until your promotion or the event date is there as well, right? So I'm just sharing my screen to show you what we've done on our end. Let me see, here's the strategy, right? So this is the plan that we had put through for exit and reactivation. And while we are doing value emails, we are just limiting the number of promotion emails that we do. And once people gain that trust and they get engaged to the value emails, they respond to promotion emails a lot more, and they know that if it's coming from this person, it's definitely valuable to go to the specific event or be part of this promotion. So that's on the promo emails. In terms of the exit and reactivation campaign, what we are doing is we are taking people who haven't opened the emails in the last 90 days, putting them into a specific bucket of reactivation campaigns, right? And then taking them onto a different journey of telling them that, hey, if you don't want to hear from us, let us know now, because then we'd stop sending you all the emails. And even if you see our email communication page, it clearly says here that, hey, if you unsubscribe, you won't get any more updates. You won't get free courses, not even customer updates if you bought a ticket to an event, right? So we make it really clear that if you want to unsubscribe, you got to unsubscribe from everything. And if you don't take any action right now, we would unsubscribe you from that list because you haven't opened any emails in the 90 days. And from that reactivation campaign, we would see a big jump of people, big group of people who would come into the proper warm database, and then that cycle keeps going, right? So we do this on regular basis, and there's an automation we put into place in our CRM, where if people don't open in 90 days, they would get this email, and then they would come back into the actual funnel. Then what that allows us to do is just go out to people who are really interested, rather than going out to like a full database of people who are not even opening. And just be mindful, whenever you're sending emails to people who are not even opening your emails, you still have to pay to the email company for each of those emails.
Cool, awesome. Thank you, Suraj. Thanks for sharing that. I'm going to share my screen for a moment, because when I was going through this with Suraj, digital marketers probably do what we talk about here, but do it to the nth degree. You do not need to be a digital marketer to do all of this kind of stuff. I mean, what we're doing on those emails is just having a very automatic thing that happens after 90 days of someone not opening any emails, which says, hey, do you still want to receive any emails from us? If so, click here, so we know to keep sending them to you. And then we'll just do one reminder after that to say, hey, we still haven't heard from you. Just because we want to minimize, the amount of, unwanted emails we're sending out, we're going to be unsubscribing you in the next 24 hours unless you click, or in the next 1 week, I don't know what the email says right now, and to click here. And then that's pretty much it, right? Here you can see on my screen an example, which I was sharing to Suraj, that here, this is Ryan Deiss. So some of you know Ryan Deiss. He's a hardcore internet marketer. And I subscribed from stuff a long time ago. And as you can see, every single day, he was posting me stuff, and I didn't even see it because it was all sitting inside my kind of like spam folder, right? So, but you can see every single day he just sends something, right? And a lot of these things are all marketing type stuff, right? But some of them are content as well. And so I showed Suraj how it was recently. You can see I opened some of them here, right? It starts from this one, Are You There, Roger? So this is like April 20th, like, Are You There, Roger? So this is the kind of thing which is a big one. It's been a while since you opened anything. I'm really glad you decided to have a look at this one. Why? Because this email contains the most helpful content I've ever released. So he's creating some content to say, I hope I can get them to click on this one, right? But I actually hadn't clicked at that at the time. But then it goes from there to then say, is this your right email address, right? So it then gives you that information. And then after that is like, and every day he does it, right? It's like, are we doing our job? Was this something I said? Am I bothering you? Should I unsubscribe you? Is this goodbye? And then at the end of it, eventually he kind of like unsubscribes me, right? Which is after like 8 more emails. So you don't need to be doing that. But basically, again, even guys like Ryan Deiss are constantly cleaning up their email address or email database to make sure they're not overdoing it, right? So that's one thing. Hopefully there's been some good value in this call for you. We use Salesforce as our database. We used to use Infusionsoft, but we've also used things like MailChimp. And so I'm sure everyone on this call has got some CRM that you're currently using that works for you, which is great. Coming back to what Suraj was talking about in terms of that, there's lots of things happening in the background here in GeniusU, and you can see a lot of changes over the next week because of the World Game. But as an example of one of the things he was sharing, you can find it. Like here I am on the World Game Mentor page, right? But if I was to go up here to the settings, you can see up here, the settings, and I just click on settings here, then what shows up is this, which gives me my chance to choose my Genie. So I can change my Genie. And then under this one, which is updates and notifications, and there's other stuff in here as well, like my profile, update details, all this information in here. But if you go to updates and notifications, you can see here, it says visit our email subscription options. So when you click on this one, this is the new page, which Suraj was just showing you, right? So you've got access to it where you can see what we've written here. And you can also see what you're actually subscribed to. So as you can see, I'm subscribed to pretty much everything. But if I decided I didn't want to get something anymore, I can just click on a particular button and it will unsubscribe me straight away automatically from that, right? So each of you have that same settings, as does anyone that you're working with. So if anyone feels they're getting too much, too little, they can come and control exactly what they're going to get from us. And for every company to have that, I think today is essential, which is really important. Okay, final thing I just wanted to share is that some of you may have seen that I did a Facebook Live on Sunday, right? So this is, sorry, Saturday, right? So this is basically a Facebook Live where you can see here it's had 7,000 views, it's had 246 likes, it's had 100 shares. And it's worth watching the video because I've done a number of things in here, like running competition for people that shared the video, for example, which is why it got shared so much. And then obviously there's lots of, I think the comments are like 200 or 300 comments now as well, because I was asking people to actually share as well, whatever it was. And people were sharing all the way through anyway. But as it was going through, it was like, for people to share a bit about like where they were coming from, and so everyone gets involved in the conversation as well off the back of it. So if you're doing Facebook Lives, that's for another time. We'll go into more detail, but you can go and watch this one and even share it if you want to, because it's all about the World Game and it explains more about what we're actually doing with our 10 times your impact micro degree as well. So that's kind of like a final little thing to mention for anyone who hadn't actually been online during the weekend, which would be some of you. So that's pretty much everything that we have covered. By the next one of these calls, it's going to be on the Monday when we are going to be live with the World Game. So we're really super. It's going to be fantastic. So thank you everyone for joining the call today. Thanks very much to Jess and to Michelle and Suraj for sharing as well. We'll catch up with you all on our next call.
See you all in the World Game.
See ya. Bye.